Listen while sleeping and let your reality change without effort. Introduction. This message is not asking you to do anything. It is not asking you to try harder. It is not asking you to change yourself. It is simply inviting you to listen. As you listen, your mind can rest. As your mind rests, your body can soften. As your body softens, something deeper begins to move. You do not need to understand every word. You do not need to remember what is said. You do not need to stay awake. Your conscious mind can drift. Your subconscious mind can listen. This is where change happens naturally. Every night you sleep, your mind already reshapes your reality. Memories are organized, emotions are released, beliefs are strengthened or softened. This process is already happening without effort. This message simply guides it in a gentle direction. Imagine a river that flows without being pushed. It moves because it is its nature to move. Your inner world works the same way. When you stop forcing, when you stop chasing, when you stop resisting, life begins to rearrange itself. Listening while sleeping is not about control. It is about allowance. It is about giving your deeper mind permission to choose differently. You may have been taught that change requires struggle, that success requires exhaustion, that peace must be earned. Tonight, you are hearing something different. Change can be soft, growth can be quiet, transformation can happen while you rest. Think of a seed beneath the soil. It does not strain, it does not worry. It grows because the conditions allow it. Your mind is the soil, your thoughts are the conditions. Your sleep is the doorway. While you sleep, the noise of the world fades. The opinions of others lose their grip. Old fears loosen their hold. This is when new ideas feel safe. This is when new beliefs are accepted. This is when reality begins to shift. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. You are simply remembering how to return to alignment. How to allow what already wants to arrive. Some people call this manifestation. Some call it healing. Some call it awakening. Names do not matter. What matters is the experience. The experience of waking up lighter. The experience of noticing small changes. The experience of feeling supported by life. You may notice your reactions changing. You may notice new opportunities appearing. You may notice peace where tension used to live. These changes do not come from effort. They come from repetition, from gentle exposure, from relaxed listening. Your subconscious mind learns through rhythm, through emotion, through safety. That is why this message flows. That is why it does not demand. That is why it meets you where you are. You do not need to believe every word. You only need to allow the sound. Your mind knows what to keep. Your mind knows what to release if you fall asleep. Perfect if you drift in and out. Perfect if you stay awake. Still perfect. There is no wrong way to receive this. Each time you listen, you create familiarity. Familiarity creates comfort. Comfort creates openness. Openness allows new realities to take root. This introduction is a doorway, not a lesson, not a command, not a rule. A doorway into a softer way of becoming. As you continue listening, let your breathing find its own pace. Let your body settle. Let your thoughts pass without engagement. You are safe. You are supported. You are already changing, not because you are trying, but because you are listening. 1. The power of listening without trying. There is a quiet strength in listening. Not listening with effort, not listening with expectation, just listening. When you listen without trying, your mind begins to loosen. Thoughts stop gripping so tightly that need to control starts to fade. Most people believe change happens when they push, when they force new habits, when they fight old patterns, but your mind works differently. It learns best when it feels safe. It opens when it is not being pressured. Listening while sleeping creates this safety. Your guard is down, your inner critic is quiet, your deeper awareness is awake. Think about a time when you learned something without realizing it. A song you remember word for word, a phrase from childhood that stayed with you, a feeling that returns when you smell rain or hear a familiar voice. You did not study these things. You absorb them. That is the same process happening here. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It listens to repetition. It listens to emotion. It listens to what feels natural when you fall asleep. To gentle words. Your mind does not argue. It does not say this is impossible. It does not say this is not for MIT. Simply receives. Imagine someone who has always felt anxious around money. They hear messages all day about struggle, about lack, about stress. Then at night, while sleeping, they hear calm, steady words. Words that speak of ease, of support, of sufficiency. Nothing dramatic happens overnight, but something shifts. They wake up feeling slightly calmer. They make a decision without panic. They notice an opportunity they would have ignored before. Reality did not change suddenly. Their inner filter changed. That is how effort-free transformation works. Listening does not demand belief. It builds familiarity. Familiarity turns into acceptance. Acceptance turns into new behavior. New behavior creates a new experience. Another example is someone who feels unworthy of love. They may consciously want connection, but deep inside, expect rejection while sleeping. They listen to words that speak of belonging, of being enough, of being chosen. They do not wake up suddenly confident, but they feel less guarded. They respond differently. They allow closeness instead of pushing it away. Responds to that openness. This is not magic. It is alignment. Your inner world sets the tone. Your outer world echoes it, listening without trying, allows the tone to change naturally. When you stop chasing change, change starts chasing you. This chapter is not asking you to fix yourself. It is reminding you that you are already wired to grow. Every night, your mind reorganizes your world. Every night, it decides what to keep and what to release. These words simply offer a new direction, a softer suggestion, a calmer signal. You do not need to concentrate. You do not need to repeat anything. You do not need to visualize. Just listen, or do not listen even. Drifting in and out is enough. Your mind knows how to use what it needs. You continue this journey. Remember, the most powerful changes are the ones you do not force. They arrive quietly, they settle gently, they last, and they begin by listening. Chapter 2: How your mind changes reality while you sleep. Every night, when your eyes close, a different part of you wakes up. The world becomes quieter, the body slows down. The thinking mind releases control. This is not emptiness, this is access. While you sleep, your mind is not inactive. It is incredibly alive. It reviews your day, it rewrites emotional meaning. It strengthens certain pathways and softens others. What you experience as reality tomorrow is shaped here. Most people are unaware of this process. They believe reality is fixed, that tomorrow will look like yesterday, that patterns repeat because they must. But patterns repeat because they are familiar, not because they are true. Sleep is where familiarity can be changed. Think of a person who has always reacted with fear in certain situations. They do not decide to feel fear, it happens automatically. That automatic response was learned, and anything learned can be relearned while sleeping. The mind becomes flexible. It becomes open to new interpretations. It becomes willing to update old information. This is why a single night of deep rest can change how you feel about a problem. You wake up with a new perspective, not because the problem disappeared, but because your mind reorganized it. Now, imagine gently guiding that process when calm, reassuring words are present during sleep. Your mind associates them with safety, with neutrality, with ease. Over time, these associations become default. Someone who listens regularly may notice situations that once triggered stress feel manageable. Thoughts that once looped begin to fade. Decisions feel clearer, not because they forced positivity, but because the emotional weight was reduced. Reality does not respond to effort. It responds to emotional expectation. Your expectations are shaped when you are relaxed, not when you are tense. This is why struggle often creates more struggle, and ease invites ease. Consider someone who believes life is always difficult. They may work hard, they may push forward, but underneath there is resistance. While sleeping, they hear messages of flow, of trust, of being supported. Slowly, the belief shifts from life is against me to life can work with me. They begin to notice help. They accept assistance. They stop rejecting good experiences. Reality reflects this change. Your sleeping mind does not analyze it, absorbs tone. It absorbs repetition. It absorbs feeling. That is why the voice matters. That is why the rhythm matters. That is why nothing is demanded of you. You are not being told to wake up different. You are being allowed to become different. Night after night, these signals accumulate, not loudly, not dramatically, but consistently. Consistency creates identity. Identity shapes perception. Perception shapes experience. This is how reality changes. Without effort, you do not chase a new life. You allow a new internal setting. When the setting changes, the experience follows. As you continue listening, your mind learns a new normal, a calmer baseline, a softer expectation, and from that place, life responds differently. Chapter 3: Releasing Resistance and Letting Life Respond. Resistance is not something you choose, it is something you learn. It is the tightening in the body, the bracing in the mind, the expectation that something must go wrong. Most resistance comes from past experience, moments where effort did not bring safety, where trying harder did not create relief. Over time, the mind learns to guard, to anticipate, to hold on, but holding on requires energy, and what requires energy eventually exhausts you. Sleep is where the grip naturally loosens. When you are asleep, you are not defending. You are not preparing. You are not rehearsing problems. This is why listening during sleep is powerful. It reaches the part of you that is tired of fighting resistance. Dissolves when it is not challenged. It softens when it is met with calm. Imagine someone who always feels they must control outcomes. They plan every detail. They fear uncertainty during sleep. They hear words of trust, words that remind them they are not alone, words that suggest life has its own intelligence. At first, nothing obvious changes, but the body relaxes, the breath deepens, the nervous system learns safety. In waking life, they pause before reacting. They allow things to unfold. They feel less urgency. Life responds to this. Openness. Opportunities appear when resistance fades. Connections deepen when defenses lower. Clarity emerges when tension releases. This is not because you tried less, it is because you allowed more. Another example is someone carrying emotional weight, old disappointment, unspoken grief, unresolved anger during the day. These emotions are held tightly. At night, they want to move. Gentle listening gives them permission. The mind begins to release what it no longer needs, not by force, but by understanding. You may notice dreams becoming lighter. You may wake up feeling space inside you. May feel less reactive. These are signs of alignment. Returning life does not need to be pushed. It needs to be met. When you stop resisting what is, you create space for what can be. This chapter is a reminder you are not here to struggle against reality. You are here to cooperate with it. Listening while sleeping is cooperation. It is a quiet agreement with life. An agreement that says, I do not need to fight to be supported. I do not need to strain to be guided. I do not need to force to receive. As resistance fades, response becomes natural, and when life responds, it does so in ways effort never could. Chapter for creating a new inner normal. Every person lives from an inner normal, a baseline feeling, a quiet expectation about how life works. This inner normal decides what feels possible, what feels safe, what feels allowed. Many people believe their normal is fixed, that it was decided by childhood, by past mistakes, by circumstances beyond control, but your inner normal is learned. And what is learned can shift. Sleep is where this shift happens gently. When you are awake, your mind protects what is familiar, even if the familiar is uncomfortable, because the familiar feels predictable. While you sleep, predictability loosens. The mind becomes curious again, open again, willing to update listening. While sleeping introduces a new emotional atmosphere, not through logic, but through repetition and tone. Imagined someone whose inner normal is stressed. They wake up already tense. They expect pressure. They feel urgency, even without reason. At night, they listen to calm, steady guidance. Words that move slowly, words that suggest time is available, words that remind the body it can rest over time. Stress stops feeling necessary. The body learns another way to exist. They wake up slightly more relaxed. They move through the day with less rush. They respond instead of react. This becomes the new normaling. The person may carry an inner normal of self-doubt. They question decisions. They hesitate. They wait for permission while sleeping. They hear words of self-trust, of inner authority, of quiet confidence. They do not wake up suddenly bold, but they hesitate. Lest they speak sooner, they take small actions. Without fear, confidence grows from repetition, not from forcing belief. Your inner normal shapes your reality because it shapes your behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. Outcomes reinforce beliefs. This loop can work for you or against you. Listening while sleeping interrupts the loop. It introduces a new reference point, a reference point of ease, of sufficiency, of belonging. The mind begins to compare, and slowly it chooses what feels better. No struggle is required. No discipline is demanded. Your system naturally moves toward what feels safe and supportive. As this happens, you may notice life responding differently, people treating you with more respect, situations resolving more smoothly, opportunities appearing without strain, not because you asked harder, but because you aligned deeper. This chapter is about permission. Permission to live from a softer center. Permission to let ease be normal. Permission to let support be expected. When your inner normal changes, your outer world follows, and it follows quietly, naturally, without effort. Chapter 5. Allowing change without forcing results. The mind has been taught to chase outcomes, to measure progress, to demand proof. But real change does not respond to pressure. It responds to permission. When you force results, you create tension. When you allow change, you create movement. Listening while sleeping removes the need to check progress. There is nothing to monitor, nothing to evaluate. The change happens underneath awareness, where effort cannot reach. Think of someone who desperately wants a new beginning. They repeat affirmations, they visualize outcomes, they strain to believe. This effort creates friction because the body feels the pressure. Now imagine the same person listening gently at night. No expectations, no demands there. Nervous system relaxes, their mind opens, their identity softens. They wake up with subtle shifts, new thoughts, different reactions, unexpected ideas. These small shifts compound. Another example is someone who wants emotional healing. They revisit the past, they analyze pain, they try to understand every detail. Understanding does not always release. Sometimes it tightens the grip. While sleeping, they listen to messages of compassion, of safety, of closure. Without explanation, the mind releases what it no longer needs because it no longer feels threatened. Healing happens when the system feels safe enough to let go. Forcing results keeps the system alert. Allowing change tells it to rest. Rest is where integration occurs. You do not need to know how change will arrive. You do not need to predict the path. You do not need to manage timing. Life organizes itself when interference stops. This does not mean passivity. It means alignment. Aligned action feels natural. It does not drain. It does not require convincing as you continue listening. Notice how ideas arise effortlessly, how decisions feel clearer, how resistance decreases. These are signs that change is integrating. This chapter is an invitation to step out of struggle, to stop negotiating with the future, to trust the intelligence already working within you. Change does not need to be chased, it needs to be allowed. And the more you allow, the more effortlessly life responds. Chapter 6. Becoming receptive to support and opportunity. People move through life in a closed posture. Not physically, but internally. They believe they must do everything alone. They believe help must be earned. They believe opportunity is rare. These beliefs create distance. Distance from support. Distance from support distance. From flow, receptivity is not weakness. It is alignment. When you are receptive, you notice what was already there. Listening while sleeping gently trains this openness, not by telling you to ask, but by reminding you that receiving is not. Someone who always rejects help. They say they are fine. They say they can manage. They carry more than they need that night. They listen to words that normalize support, words that speak of shared effort, of unseen assistance, of being held by life. Body relaxes around the idea. Their identity shifts. During the day, they pause before saying no. They accept a suggestion. They allow collaboration. Support flows where resistance ends in. Other example is someone who feels opportunity passes them by. They believe timing is wrong. They believe luck belongs to others. While sleeping, they hear messages of alignment, of right timing, of being in the right place. They do not wake up chasing chances. They simply notice them. Their attention shifts. Their intuition sharpens. Their choices align. Opportunity responds to awareness. Receptivity does not mean waiting. It means recognizing when your inner state softens. Your perception widens. You see doors that were always open. You hear invitations you once ignored. You feel impulses you once doubted. This is how life guides without force. This chapter is about allowing yourself to be supported by people, by circumstances, by timing. You were never meant to carry everything alone. You were never meant to struggle endlessly. You were meant to participate in a larger movement. Listening while sleeping reconnects you to that movement. Has receptivity grows, life feels less heavy, less urgent, less isolated. In that openness, support arrives naturally. Chapter 7. Trusting the quiet guidance. Within there is a voice inside you that does not shout. It does not rush. It does not argue. It waits. Most people lose touch with this voice, not because it disappears, but because louder voices take over. Fear speaks loudly. Pressure speaks loudly. Expectation speaks loudly. Quiet guidance speaks softly. Sleep is where the volume changes. When you are asleep, the loud voices rest. The quiet voice has space. Listening while sleeping strengthens this connection. Not by instruction, but by familiarity, you begin to recognize the feeling of inner yes, the calm sense of right timing, the gentle pull toward what fits. Imagine someone who constantly doubts decisions. They ask for opinions, they second guess, they delay at night. They listen to messages that affirm inner knowing, words that remind them they already sense direction, words that validate intuition. Their mind stops seeking permission. Their body recognizes certainty. During the day, they choose with less hesitation. They trust first impressions. They move forward without inner conflict. Another person may feel disconnected from purpose. They wonder what they are meant to do. They search for signs. While sleeping, they hear words that normalize. Unfolding that suggests purpose reveals itself through presence. Through responsiveness, they stop searching desperately. They start paying attention. Moments feel meaningful. Small actions feel aligned. Paths clarify naturally. Guidance does not arrive as instructions. It arrives as a feeling of ease, a feeling of expansion, a feeling of calm recognition. This guidance has always been there. It becomes accessible when tension fades. Listening while sleeping teaches your system to listen again. Not to noise, but to nuance. As trust grows, life feels less confusing, less chaotic, less demanding. You stop forcing direction and start responding to it. This chapter is about remembering. You are already guided, you are already connected, you are already supported. The guidance you seek is not outside you. It rises when you are quiet enough to receive it, and sleep is where that quiet begins. Chapter 8. The subtle art of transformation. While resting, transformation is often imagined as dramatic, as sudden, as visible, but the deepest changes are rarely obvious. They are subtle, slow, silent. They do not scream for attention. They do not demand recognition. Listening while sleeping allows this subtlety to flourish. The mind does not feel rushed. The system does not feel pressured. The heart does not feel threatened. Imagine someone who wishes to feel more confident. They may expect a moment of clarity, a spark of courage, a bold shift. Instead, they notice small things: a slightly firmer posture, a lighter mood, a decision made without overthinking. These small shifts accumulate, they intertwine, they compound. Another example is someone who wants emotional freedom. They do not wake up with complete release. They do not suddenly forget past pain. Instead, they notice slight ease in thought, a softening intention, a more compassionate response to themselves. Transformation is like water carving rock. Not in hours, but over years through persistent flow. Sleep is the channel. Listening is the rhythm. Each night the mind receives, each day it integrates, each moment the body adjusts. This process does not require your effort. It only requires your allowance. Change is not earned by struggle. It is revealed through receptivity. The more you listen, the more familiar the new becomes, the more the mind accepts, the more the body follows, and then reality itself begins to shift. Small things become effortless. Habits adjust naturally. Reactions soften. Decisions align. This is the art of transformation. While resting, you do not need to direct it. You do not need to track it. You do not need to validate it. Your subconscious orchestrates the work. Your conscious mind simply allows. As subtle change grows, you notice life responding. Situations unfold differently. Opportunities arrive with ease. People interact in unexpected harmony. This chapter is about patience and trust, about honoring quiet progress, about celebrating invisible growth. The transformation you seek is already occurring. It moves in the spaces where you rest. It blooms in the moments you allow. It unfolds while you listen. Chapter 9. Aligning your inner world with your outer reality. Everything you experience in life is a reflection. Not always literal, not always immediate, but always connected. Your outer reality mirrors your inner world, your beliefs, your expectations, your emotional state. If your inner world is tense, your outer world feels chaotic. If your inner world is open, your outer world flows. Listening while sleeping rewires this mirror, not by logic, not by effort, but by consistent, gentle suggestion. Imagine someone who feels life is always a struggle. They wake with tension, they act cautiously, they see obstacles everywhere. While sleeping, they hear messages of ease, of sufficiency, of natural flow. Their inner world begins to soften. They stop anticipating failure. They stop resisting change. They begin to notice possibility. Over time, the outer world reflects this shift. They encounter solutions more easily. They attract cooperation. They respond instead of react. Another person may feel unworthy of love or success. They carry a deep expectation of rejection during the day. This shapes behavior. They avoid opportunities. They close off connections. While sleeping, they listen to messages of acceptance, of belonging, of being enough. Their inner world realigns. They begin to participate fully. They stop self-sabotaging. They allow support and affection. Reality responds to this alignment. Not magically, not instantly, but consistently. The bridge between inner and outer is subtle. It is the quiet trust, the gentle openness, the soft expectation. When you maintain this bridge, life becomes less about pushing and more about allowing opportunities appear where tension once blocked them. Relationships deepen where fear once limited them. Choices feel intuitive where confusion once reigned. This chapter is about understanding the connection between what is felt inside and what is seen outside. Your outer world is not separate. It is a reflection. It is a mirror. It is a response to the state you cultivate within. Listening while sleeping strengthens this bridge. It trains your inner world to align. It teaches your subconscious that ease is safe, that flow is allowed, that support is natural. As alignment grows, life feels lighter, more harmonious, more effortless, and you begin to realize that changing the inner world is the most powerful way to change everything around you. 10. Embracing the infinite potential within. Every person carries infinite potential inside, not the kind measured by skill or achievement, but the kind that flows quietly, the kind that waits for space to expand. Most of life is spent unaware of this potential. People chase results, people strive for validation, people push against their own nature's leap creates a portal to what is already possible. Listening while sleeping awakens awareness of this untapped resource. It does not demand action, it does not require proof, it simply reveals a method. Someone who feels limited by circumstance, they see obstacles as permanent, they believe opportunity belongs to others. While sleeping, they hear gentle guidance, words that hint at possibility, words that remind them that life responds to alignment, words that suggest they are bigger than current perceptions. Shifts occur, they wake with slight curiosity, they notice ideas they would have dismissed, they feel a courage that was dormant in other. Person may feel trapped in routine, they long for change, but habit seems unbreakable. Listening at night offers a different rhythm. The mind begins to explore solutions. Quietly, new perspectives emerge. Without effort, old patterns loosen their grip. Potential is never forced. It is always revealed in the space where resistance fades, where listening allows growth, where presence meets possibility. Your subconscious mind knows how to cultivate this potential. It organizes resources, it notices connections, it creates opportunities before the conscious mind even realizes. The more you allow this process, the more effortlessly potential expresses itself. You do not need to push, you do not need to plan, you do not need to control. You only need to listen. To rest, to allow as infinite potential awakens. You begin to notice life expanding, doors open, ideas flourish. Connections deepen. This chapter is about embracing what is already within, recognizing that effortless change is possible, trusting that the mind knows how to create, even while you rest. When you embrace this truth, you live in a state of quiet abundance, a place where growth is natural, where transformation occurs without struggle, where your reality shifts as easily as your breath. And this is only the beginning. Chapter 11. The gentle power of habit formation. While sleeping, habits shape life. More than intention, more than willpower, more than effort, the mind repeats what it knows. Patterns become automatic. Routine feels safe, but not all habits serve you. Some keep you small, some keep you stuck, some keep you exhausted. Listening while sleeping introduces a new rhythm, a rhythm that does not fight old habits, but gradually replaces them with aligned patterns. Someone who struggles with procrastination, during the day they try to force focus, they feel frustrated when discipline fails. Night, they listen to words of calm productivity, of gentle consistency, of natural flow. Their subconscious begins to adopt new patterns, not with strain, not with punishment, but through familiarity. Over time, small changes appear. They wake and begin tasks without resistance. They notice momentum building. They feel capable without force. Another person may want to create a habit of gratitude. They try to remember. During the day, they forget, they feel it is too difficult. While sleeping, they hear gentle reminders of appreciation, of noticing, abundance of quiet reflection there. Mind records these impressions effortlessly, and during waking hours, gratitude begins to appear naturally. Moments of appreciation become automatic mood lifts without conscious effort. This is the power of habit formation while sleeping. Subtle, incremental, invisible at first, effortless repetition reshapes identity, and identity shapes reality. Habits formed this way do not feel imposed. They feel like part of who you are, like a natural extension of your being. The key is consistency, not intensity, not obsession, not forcing change. Night, you listen each night. You allow each night. Your subconscious adapts, and the more you practice this, the easier transformation becomes. Old habits fade, new habits integrate. Life flows with less friction. This chapter is about trust. Trust that your mind knows how to learn. Trust that small, gentle signals accumulate. Trust that effortless change is possible. As you continue this practice, you begin to notice yourself evolving without struggle, without effort, without resistance, and slowly your reality begins to reflect the new patterns. Naturally. Chapter 12, Cultivating Emotional Resilience. Through sleep, emotional resilience is not built through struggle. It is cultivated through awareness and gentle repetition. Life often challenges the heart. Situations arise. People react unexpected. Events create tension. Most people respond with resistance, with worry, with overthinking. These reactions strengthen old neural pathways. They reinforce anxiety. They maintain patterns that feel safe, but limiting listening while sleeping trains a different response. It teaches the mind and body to experience emotions without becoming overwhelmed, without clinging, without pushing. Imagine someone who is easily frustrated. Small inconveniences trigger irritation. Minor setbacks feel monumental at night. They listen to calm words, messages that normalize emotion, messages that emphasize patience, messages that suggest perspective and ease. Over time, their nervous system begins to shift. The body learns to release tension faster. The mind pauses before reacting. Emotional impulses soften. On their person may struggle with sadness or grief. They carry it quietly during the day. It affects decisions. It clouds perception while sleeping. They hear words that encourage gentle acceptance, compassion for self, openness to healing, recognition that feelings do not define identity. Sadness no longer dominates. Grief becomes integrated emotions, flow rather than stall. Resilience grows silently. It does not announce itself. It is reflected in how life is experienced, how challenges are met, how reactions become calm and measured. Subconscious mind records patterns of stability, patterns of adaptability, patterns of inner peace. These patterns influence waking life. Responses are no longer automatic. They are intentional, rooted in calm, awareness. Listening while sleeping teaches the system that emotions are signals, not threats, that life can be navigated without tension, that support and alignment exist even when circumstances seem uncertain. This chapter is about cultivating trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your capacity to respond. Trust in life's emotional resilience grows. You notice life feels lighter. Stress no longer accumulates. Challenges become opportunities to practice command. This calm, accumulated quietly at night, emerges naturally in every moment of your day. Chapter 13, Awakening Creativity and Intuition. While you rest, creativity is often misunderstood as effort, as forcing ideas, as pushing for innovation. But true creativity flows effortlessly. It comes from space, from stillness, from allowing. Sleep is the gateway to this flow while the conscious mind rests. The subconscious mind explores freely. It connects ideas. It imagines possibilities. It solves problems without judgment. Listening while sleeping nurtures this process, not by instructing the mind, but by creating a fertile environment. Imagine someone struggling with a project. They ruminate, they overthink, they fear failure. During the night they hear gentle words, messages of curiosity, messages of trust and insight, messages that honor imagination. The subconscious begins to experiment. It tries connections. It tests solutions. It generates possibilities. The morning ideas appear naturally. Solutions seem obvious. Inspiration arrives without effort. Another person may seek intuitive guidance. They wish to sense the best decision, to understand the next step, to recognize alignment. While sleeping, they hear words of trust, words that encourage inner listening, words that validate subtle impressions. Their mind begins to notice subtle cues, patterns of opportunity, signs of alignment. Intuitive nudge. Over time, intuition becomes reliable. It does not scream, it whispers. It is subtle, yet unmistakable. Creativity and intuition thrive in states of calm. They are blocked by pressure. They are blocked by fear. They are blocked by tension. Listening while sleeping dissolves these barriers. The mind learns to operate without the need for immediate validation. Ideas and insights emerge naturally. Patterns are recognized effortlessly. This chapter is about remembering that your mind is inherently creative, that your intuition is always present, that sleep and listening are keys to unlocking this potential. As you continue this practice, you will notice life presenting solutions, opportunities appearing with clarity, choices guided by wisdom, and the quiet flow of imagination shaping your reality. Creativity and intuition are not earned. They are remembered. They awaken when the mind is given space to rest and receive. Chapter 14. Building confidence through quiet repetition. Confidence is rarely created through force. It is rarely formed in a single bold moment. It grows quietly, incrementally, through repeated experiences. Reinforce trust in yourself. Most people confuse confidence with arrogance or assertiveness. They believe confidence comes from proving themselves, from taking visible action, from demanding recognition. True confidence is different. It is rooted in inner alignment, in knowing your capabilities, in trusting your own guidance. Listening while sleeping provides the perfect environment to cultivate this trust. The mind is receptive, the body is relaxed, the conscious critic is silent. Imagine someone who struggles with self-assurance. They doubt their decisions, they hesitate to speak, they feel anxious in new situations. While sleeping, they hear gentle affirmations, messages that validate their worth, messages that normalize competence, messages that suggest they are capable. And enough repetition during rest teaches the subconscious. It notices patterns of trust. It begins to expect ease. It begins to assume capability over time. Small changes emerge. They take initiative without fear. They express opinions without hesitation. They engage with life confidently, not because of pressure, but because the inner expectation has shifted. Another example is someone facing a challenging task during the day. They may feel overwhelmed. They may procrastinate or second-guess. While sleeping, they hear words that reinforce calm perseverance, words that affirm resilience and adaptability. In the morning, they approach the task with composure. Solutions arise naturally. Mistakes are met with curiosity. Rather than self-criticism, confidence grows through subtle repetition, through familiar messages received in safety, through inner patterns that strengthen quietly at night. This chapter is about understanding the difference between effort and alignment. Effort can feel exhausting. Alignment feels natural. Confidence, created this way, is enduring. It is resilient. It does not depend on external validation. As you continue listening, you will notice yourself moving through life with greater assurance. Your actions flow with ease, your presence communicates quiet strength, and your reality begins to reflect the confidence cultivated in the unseen hours of rest. Chapter 15. Experiencing joy and gratitude effortlessly. Joy is often mistaken for excitement or achievement. Gratitude is often thought to require recognition or reward. But true joy and gratitude arise naturally from alignment, from awareness, from the soft acceptance of life as it is. Listening while sleeping cultivates this natural state without forcing it, without judgment, without expectation. Imagine someone who feels weighed down by routine, who struggles to notice beauty in everyday life, who waits for moments of celebration to feel happiness at night. They hear gentle messages, words that highlight abundance, words that normalize contentment, words that encourage noticing small blessings over time. These messages reshape perception. The mind begins to recognize positive details. The heart softens. Moments of appreciation arise spontaneously. Another person may feel trapped by negativity. They dwell on what is lacking. They anticipate difficulty. While sleeping, they hear words that encourage acceptance, messages that invite joy, messages that affirm value in simple experiences. Slowly, the inner lens shifts. Their awareness naturally seeks positive experiences. They notice kindness. They feel connection. They recognize opportunity. Joy and gratitude are amplified when the mind feels safe. Pressure, worry, and resistance block these feelings. Sleep removes these barriers. Listening reinforces the sense that life is supportive, that abundance exists even without striving. The subconscious integrates these impressions, making appreciation and contentment part of the inner landscape. These feelings then influence waking behavior. Small gestures become meaningful. Decisions are guided by optimism. Interactions become warmer. This chapter is about letting joy and gratitude emerge, not as fleeting moments, not as forced expressions, but as a steady current flowing beneath awareness. As you continue listening, you will notice life feels lighter. Even ordinary moments carry significance. You respond with warmth, you recognize abundance, and your reality begins to reflect the joy cultivated in the quiet space of rest. Joy and gratitude, once internalized, become effortless companions, shaping the world around you in harmony with the life you are listening to. Chapter 16. Trusting the process of life. Life often feels like a series of challenges, a sequence of unpredictable events. A test of endurance. Most people respond with worry, with planning, with attempts to control outcomes. But true progress and transformation are not born from struggle. They arise when trust replaces tension, when surrender replaces resistance. The mind allows life to unfold. Listening while sleeping trains this trust, not by demanding belief, not by giving instructions, but by gently reminding the subconscious that life is intelligent, that life supports growth, that alignment brings natural guidance. Imagine someone who constantly fears the future. They anticipate problems, they imagine worst-case scenarios, they resist uncertainty. At night, they hear messages of reassurance, words that suggest life has a rhythm, words that affirm timing, words that normalize patience. Their nervous system relaxes their mind, quiets their heart, feels safety during the day. They pause before reacting. They notice possibilities instead of obstacles. They feel a gentle confidence that things will unfold as they should. Another person may feel frustrated by slow progress. They may push harder. They may force results. While sleeping, they hear words that emphasize patience, messages that suggest growth occurs gradually, messages that reinforce acceptance of timing over time. Impatience softens expectations. Adjust the mind becomes attuned to subtle signs. Actions align with circumstances rather than against them. Trust is strengthened through repeated exposure, through consistent reassurance, through the quiet repetition of aligned thought. This chapter is about understanding that life moves naturally, that forcing outcomes creates friction, that surrender is not passivity, but a form of intelligent participation. As trust grows, you notice stress-dissolving decisions become clearer, opportunities appear without strain, connections deepen effortlessly. Listening while sleeping teaches the system that life works even when effort is minimal, that guidance is always present, that growth occurs in its own time, and as this trust becomes internalized, you live with a sense of calm certainty, a quiet confidence in the unfolding of your life, and the reality around you begins to shift in harmony with the peace cultivated in your deepest rest. Chapter 17, Integrating Mind, Body, and Spirit while you rest. True transformation does not occur in one part of you alone. It requires alignment of mind, body, and spirit. When all three function in harmony, life flows naturally. Decisions feel effortless, presence becomes complete. Most people experience imbalance. The mind races while the body is tired, the body acts while the spirit feels disconnected. The spirit longs while the mind doubts listening. While sleeping creates the space for integration, it does not demand understanding. It does not require analysis. It allows the system to unify organically. Imagine someone whose mind is constantly anxious. They plan endlessly, they anticipate problems, they resist uncertainty while sleeping. They hear calm messages, words that encourage stillness, words that affirm safety, words that support inner trust. Their body relaxes muscles, release tension. Breathing deepens, heart rate stabilizes. Their spirit begins to feel connection, a sense of belonging, a subtle awareness of purpose. The person may feel physically exhausted yet mentally restless during the day. Energy feels scattered, tasks pile up, focus slips. While sleeping, they hear words that emphasize renewal, messages that honor rest, messages that validate the body's wisdom. Gradually, energy stabilizes the mind, processes information efficiently. The body recovers naturally, the spirit feels nourished, integration emerges silently. The three systems begin to operate as one. Behavior, perception, and emotion align. Life feels coherent. Challenges are met with calm. Opportunities are noticed and embraced. This chapter is about honoring the natural intelligence within you. The system knows how to self-correct it, knows how to balance it, knows how to harmonize. Listening while sleeping provides consistent signals, signals of safety, signals of acceptance, signals of wholeness. As integration deepens, you experience a profound sense of ease. Life feels unified. You act with clarity. You respond with compassion. You move with purpose. Your inner alignment begins to shape outer reality. Not through force, not through striving, but through the effortless resonance created while you rest, through the quiet, persistent work of listening and allowing. Chapter 18, Letting Go of the Past and Embracing the Present. Many people carry the past like a heavy cloak, memories of failure, regret over choices, pain from relationships, moments that replay endlessly, and the mind holding on to these experiences shapes the present. It colors perception, it limits possibilities, it creates resistance to what is. Listening while sleeping offers a gentle path to release. It does not force forgetting, it does not demand reinterpretation. It allows the mind and heart to soften around memory. Imagine someone burdened by past mistakes during the day. guilt or shame rises. Decisions feel influenced by what already happened. Fear of repeating errors blocks action at night. They hear messages of forgiveness, words that normalize human imperfection, words that suggest lessons have already been integrated, words that affirm the present as separate from the past slowly. The mind separates identity from experience. Emotions tied to old events lose intensity. Energy is freed for new possibilities. Actions are guided by clarity rather than fear. Another person may dwell on lost opportunities. They feel nostalgia mixed. With regret, they believe certain doors are permanently closed. While sleeping, they hear words that emphasize the present, messages that highlight what is available now, messages that affirm that life continues to unfold in meaningful ways over time. The attachment to past outcomes weakens attention, shifts to what can be influenced. Hope replaces fixation. Curiosity replaces longing. The past becomes a teacher, not a jailer. This chapter is about cultivating presence, about understanding that life exists in this moment, that the present is where creation occurs. That listening and allowing at night trains the system to release what no longer serves as the past is released. The mind becomes lighter. The heart feels openness. Life feels expansive. And opportunities emerge naturally. By embracing the present, you step into alignment. You create space for joy. You invite flow. You allow reality to respond to the wholeness cultivated while you rest. Chapter 19. Experiencing flow and effortless momentum. Life often feels like a struggle against resistance. Tasks pile up. Challenges appear. Progress seems slow. Energy feels scattered. Flow, however, is the state where movement becomes effortless, where decisions arise naturally, where actions align with circumstances, where momentum carries you forward without strain. Listening while sleeping cultivates this flow, not by teaching techniques, not by offering steps, but by creating a receptive inner environment, a place where the subconscious learns rhythm, timing, and alignment. Imagine someone who feels stuck in their day-to-day life. They push against obstacles, they plan constantly, they worry about outcomes. While sleeping, they hear words that encourage ease, messages that normalize natural timing, messages that affirm alignment with life's intelligence. Their nervous system begins to synchronize. Breathing becomes steady. Thoughts settle. Body and mind prepare for natural action. When they wake, decisions flow more smoothly. Tasks are completed without overthinking. Solutions arise with clarity. Energy moves where it is needed. Another example is someone pursuing creative projects. They force ideas during the day. They struggle to find inspiration. At night, they listen to messages that nurture creativity, words that honor imagination, words that suggest patience and trust in inner guidance. During waking hours, inspiration arises spontaneously. Ideas connect effortlessly. Projects advance naturally. Flow emerges not from pushing, but from alignment. Momentum arises not from force, but from allowing. This chapter is about trusting the current of life, about understanding that effort is often counterproductive, that rest and listening are powerful tools for cultivating natural progress. As you continue listening, you will notice momentum appearing without effort. Tasks are completed with ease. Challenges are met calmly. Opportunities present themselves naturally. Life begins to move as if it is responding to your inner rhythm, and you realize that effort is not required, that alignment is enough, and that the state of flow cultivated in rest carries into every waking moment. Chapter 20. Living in alignment with your highest self. Every person carries an essence of their highest self, a version that is wise, calm, confident, connected, and fully alive. Most of life distracts from this version. External demands, internal doubts, patterns learned long ago, expectations of others. Listening while sleeping reconnects you to your highest self, not by telling you who to be, not by giving instructions, but by reminding your subconscious of the alignment already possible. Imagine someone who feels fragmented. Thoughts pull one way, emotions pull another. Actions feel disconnected from intention. While sleeping, they hear messages that affirm inner wisdom, messages that encourage trust in intuition, messages that suggest alignment is natural and safe. Their nervous system adjusts the mind, quiets the heart, opens in the morning. They notice choices guided by clarity. Decisions feel natural. Reactions or measured. Presence feels whole. Another person may struggle with self-doubt or hesitation. They question their worth. They compare themselves to others while sleeping. They hear words that validate sufficiency, words that normalize confidence, words that encourage authentic expression over time. The internal critic softens the sense of self, becomes steady confidence emerges without strain. Living in alignment with your highest self means allowing inner guidance to lead. It means trusting that life responds to this alignment. It means recognizing that struggle is optional when awareness and intention converge as alignment deepens. Life begins to feel effortless, opportunities resonate with purpose. Relationships flow naturally, actions match inner values. This chapter is about remembering who you truly are. Not a version shaped by fear or expectation, but the version that flows naturally, the version that responds to life with clarity, ease, and grace. Listening while sleeping allows your highest self to guide silently, gradually shaping thoughts, habits, and perceptions. And when your inner world aligns, the outer world naturally reflects your true essence. This is the quiet power of living from your highest self, a power cultivated in rest, reinforced by listening, and revealed effortlessly in every moment of your waking life. Chapter 21, Embodying the New You in Daily Life. Transformation does not remain confined to sleep. The shifts that occur while listening slowly seep into waking life. The subtle rewiring of thought, emotion, and habit begins to show in actions, perceptions, and choices. You begin to embody the change, not as an idea, but as a living experience. Someone who has been cultivating patience and ease at night. During the day, they notice less reactivity. They respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively. Challenges that once triggered stress now feel manageable. Decisions arise with clarity instead of hesitation. Another person may have been building confidence and self-trust while resting. They move through their day with a quiet assurance. They engage with others authentically. They accept opportunities they might have previously ignored. They speak, act, and live from alignment with their highest self. This embodiment is not forced. It does not require daily affirmations or strenuous effort. It unfolds naturally, like a river finding its course. The body, mind, and spirit integrate the lessons of rest, and daily life becomes an extension of the transformation cultivated in sleep. Small behaviors become automatic patterns of ease, joy, and receptivity replace old resistance. Emotional resilience strengthens creativity and intuition. Guide choices effortlessly. Gratitude, flow, and alignment shape perception and interactions. Living as the new version of yourself is a practice. It is not about perfection. It is about noticing the internal shifts and allowing them to express. It is about responding from calm, trust, and awareness. It is about letting the subconscious lead the way while the conscious mind follows. As you continue to embody this transformation, you will notice life responding differently. Opportunities will present themselves naturally. Relationships will deepen and flourish. Challenges will feel like invitations for growth. Your reality will reflect the effortless alignment you have cultivated. This chapter is a reminder that transformation is not limited to night or sleep. The new you is already emerging, in every moment of daily life becomes a field for expressing the harmony, the clarity, the potential, and the joy that you nurtured while listening and allowing yourself to rest. Living fully as the transformed self is not a goal to achieve. It is a state to inhabit, a continuous, effortless unfolding. And the more you listen and allow, the more fully this new reality integrates, shaping your life in ways you may not even anticipate. Chapter 22, Trusting Your Subconscious as the Architect of Change. One of the greatest realizations in this journey is understanding that your subconscious mind is always working, always observing, always processing, always shaping the reality you experience. Most people think that change requires constant conscious effort, endless planning, forceful action, relentless discipline, but the subconscious does not need force. It thrives on repetition, rhythm, and gentle suggestion. It absorbs patterns, beliefs, and emotional cues. It integrates lessons without demanding attention. Listening while sleeping is a way of communicating directly with this intelligent system, not through argument or reasoning, not through pressure or coercion, but through calm, consistent exposure, through gentle repetition of aligned thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Imagine someone who has struggled with fear or self-doubt. During waking hours, they feel stuck, unsure, or anxious. They try to reason, to will themselves forward, to push through resistance the conscious mind battles. Often unsuccessfully while sleeping, their subconscious receives messages of safety, capability, and ease. It learns what is familiar, what is possible, what feels aligned. It begins to anticipate calm responses instead of fear. It quietly rewires neural pathways, adjusting patterns without the conscious mind interfering. Another person may wish to cultivate creativity or intuition during the day. They may feel blocked, frustrated, or doubtful while sleeping. Their subconscious experiments freely. It makes connections, sees possibilities, and practices solutions when they awaken. Ideas emerge naturally. Decisions feel guided. Insights arise effortlessly. This chapter is about relinquishing the illusion that effort alone drives transformation. Your subconscious is the architect, shaping experiences, forming habits, and cultivating alignment. Your conscious mind is the witness, the participant, and the learner. It observes, allows, and trusts. When you trust this process, when you listen and allow the subconscious to do its work, life begins to flow with natural intelligence. Challenges are met with inner guidance. Opportunities present themselves at the right time. Transformation occurs silently, steadily, and permanently. Listening while sleeping is not passive. It is strategic. It is potent. It is the act of collaborating with the most powerful force within you, the subconscious mind. Always attentive, always shaping, always creating. As you continue to engage with this process, you cultivate a profound trust in your inner intelligence. You recognize that effortless change is possible, and you allow life itself to align with the quiet, persistent work being done within you. Chapter 23: Experiencing Harmony Between Thought and Emotion. True transformation requires more than new habits or altered beliefs. It requires harmony between thought and emotion. When the mind and heart move together, life feels seamless. Decisions feel natural. Presence feels complete. Most people experience conflict internally. They may think one thing but feel another. They may know what is best, yet react emotionally against it. This misalignment creates tension, frustration, confusion. Listening while sleeping nurtures internal harmony, not by suppressing emotions, not by dictating thoughts, but by allowing alignment to emerge organically. Imagine someone who often feels anxious despite knowing rational solutions during the day. Worry overrides logic. Emotion and thought pull in opposite directions. Actions feel conflicted at night. They hear gentle affirmations, words that acknowledge feelings, words that support calm thinking, words that normalize alignment between perception and emotion. The subconscious integrates these messages. It learns to match emotional responses with rational understanding over time. Anxiety softens. Decisions arise effortlessly. Actions follow intention naturally. Another person may struggle with self-doubt. Their mind encourages confidence, but the heart feels fear during sleep. Messages of trust, self-worth, and reassurance. Our absorbed feelings begin to resonate with thoughts. Inner dialogue aligns with emotion. Self-expression becomes authentic and fluid. Harmony between thought and emotion is subtle but powerful. It shapes perception, influences behavior, determines the ease with which life flows. This chapter emphasizes that change is not only about acquiring skills or achieving goals. It is about inner coherence, about allowing the mind and heart to communicate without resistance, about creating a state of calm, integrated awareness that guides action naturally. As you continue listening and allowing this process, you will notice greater ease in daily life. Emotional reactivity diminishes. Inner conflict softens. Decisions arise from clarity, and your reality reflects the integration cultivated quietly during rest. True transformation emerges not just from what you think, nor solely from what you feel, but from the alignment between thought and emotion. And listening while sleeping cultivates that alignment effortlessly. Conclusion: embracing the power of effortless transformation. You have journeyed through chapters of listening, allowing, and aligning. You have explored the ways your mind, body, and spirit transform quietly while resting. You have discovered that change does not require force, that growth does not demand struggle, that reality shifts naturally when you allow it to. Listening while sleeping is not a task, it is not a challenge, it is an invitation, an opportunity to create a gentle rhythm of transformation within. Throughout this journey, you have learned to release resistance and open to possibility. Trust life's intelligence and timing. Integrate mind, body, and spirit. Cultivate emotional resilience, creativity, and confidence. Form habits and patterns. Effortlessly embrace joy, gratitude, and flow. Reconnect with your highest self. All of these processes happen without pressure, without urgency. Without expectation, your subconscious mind receives what the conscious mind cannot force. It integrates lessons, builds resilience, rewires patterns, and fosters alignment. It nurtures potential that is often overlooked during waking hours. Transformation through listening is cumulative. Each night you listen, each night you allow, each night your mind, body, and spirit adjust naturally. Small shifts, compound subtle changes create momentum, and the reality you experience responds in kind. You do not need to struggle to be better. You do not need to chase life. You do not need to fix yourself. You only need to listen. You only need to rest. You only need to allow your inner guidance and natural intelligence to lead as you continue this practice. You will notice life flowing with less resistance. You will notice decisions feeling aligned. You will notice joy and confidence arising naturally. You will notice opportunities, support, and connection appearing effortlessly. The power of effortless transformation is always available. It has always been within you, and it grows stronger every time you listen while sleeping. This conclusion is not an ending, it is an opening, an invitation to live fully, to trust deeply, to allow life to unfold in harmony with the quiet intelligence within. Your reality is shifting not because you forced it, but because you listened, because you rested, because you allowed, and the possibilities ahead are limitless. End.
Kindly subscribe to my channel.